What what up, guys? In this video, I want to talk about why I think, the idea of men being like players and stuff, why I think, it's largely a myth. Like, I don't think that, men can really perform as good with women and like get as many sexual partners or whatever as people will talk about. I think it is largely a myth, and the reason why I want to talk about this is that I don't want men to feel bad about themselves and like how much attention that they get from women or whatever. Like, if you really think about it, like if you think about how strong our sex drive is as a man that draws us towards women, there's virtually nothing a man can do. There's almost no equivalent a man can do to get a woman to be so drawn to him in that same exact way, right? There's almost no equivalent. Like, the only equivalent that would make a woman want to like bang down your door and want to be with you, like without even really knowing you, is if you're a famous. Like, you have to be actually famous in order for that to happen, right? Like 3 million followers and you're like a musician in some boy band. Like, that's the only thing that would get women just lining up to be with you. Money's not gonna do that. Your looks aren't gonna do that. Like, even as like a more conventionally attractive man like me, like I've said it before, I never get random DMs from women. No women approach me in public. Like, that doesn't it doesn't happen. uh so with that being said, I think that men need to be more confident in themselves and know that, you know that if, like, you're not gonna have that much success in dating. Like, the success rate for a man is gonna be so much lower than it will be for a woman. And a decently attractive woman can really pretty much get anybody. But for even a really attractive man, his success rate as far as getting a woman on a date is gonna be fairly low. Like, even the best is gonna be fairly low, or relatively low. Like, it's just a different game. It's kind of like, if you're familiar with baseball, like pitcher versus hitters, right? A good pitcher probably gets the batter out 7.5 out of 10 times, let's say, right? I would assume, as someone who played baseball, that's what I would think. But a good hitter only gets on base 3 out of 10 times, or gets a hit 3 out of 10 at bats, right? So it's a different ball game. It's like the woman is like the pitcher, right? Her success rate is way higher, right? But if you can get, as a hitter, you're more like the man is more like the hitter. If you can get a hit 3 out of 10 times, that makes you an extremely good hitter. So we're playing different games where what would be an extremely small failure or success rate for them would be really high for us, right? So even an overweight, woman, extremely overweight woman who works at McDonald's and has 3 kids and from 3 different fathers and is a single mom living off welfare, even that woman's success rate can be higher than a handsome man who's rich. Like, seriously, if you think, I mean, not necessarily that men will commit to her, but as far as getting a man to go out with her, her success rate is gonna be higher than us. Like, that's because that's kind of how it is. And I think there are a lot of women who are more arrogant these days that are weaponizing that. Like, they know that all they have to do is post a sexy photo and get a bunch of attention for it, and they're gonna use that to get attention, which is messed up. But I want to say, like, men need to center their confidence around themselves, like, because we're never gonna get that same amount of attention. And it's not even that necessarily that it matters. Like, a human being was probably meant to to only marry one person, right? But we're never gonna get that type of attention. So you gotta do things for yourself, right? And like I'm saying, the reward is not necessarily gonna be obvious. Like if you get ripped in the gym, there's gonna benefit the way you think about yourself way more than it will ever get you external rewards. If a woman goes to the gym and gets super fit, there's gonna be tons of external validation. She will start getting asked out, she will start getting followers. For us, no, it's not gonna work like that. If you go and get ripped, yeah, it's gonna help you. It's gonna help you in your dating, for sure it will. But the best thing that you can get from it is the way that you think about it, the way that you feel good about it, because the external validation it's not gonna be that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really not, because like I'm saying, there's nothing that can make a woman drawn to us in the same way that our sexuality draws us to women. Like because a man's sexual attraction is so strong, there's no equivalent to that, and it's probably for a good reason. If both men and women were highly sexual, it would literally probably destroy society. Like, one person has to be the rejector, one person has to be the one that gatekeeps, the sex or relationship or whatever from happening. One person has to do that, and I guess it's the women. But like I'm saying, a lot of women take advantage of that, getting super arrogant and thinking that they're all that. But in actuality, it's just that their sexuality works differently. The only thing that makes them extremely go crazy for a man is if he's famous, unless they know him. But the only way to just passively have women coming at you like absolutely nuts is if you are famous. If you get handsome and get money and up your social skills, yeah, you're gonna get some attention. You're definitely gonna get some attention. But there's nothing that is gonna make it, like extremely high. So I think these dudes that we hear about, players, getting lots of dates, they are maybe getting with women or whatever, but it's still relatively low. Like, it's still, how to explain it? It's not that high. There's a lot of failure in there, And I know that because just ask any dude that talks to a lot of women. There's a lot of failure in there. There's going to be a lot of ghosting, a lot of, oh, sorry, I have a boyfriend. There's going to be a ton of failure in there. That's another point that I want to make, is that if you do plan to, go on a lot of dates, it's going to be a numbers game in many ways. You're going to have to really increase the numbers of how many women you're asking out, and then really increase your communication skills, of course. But it's going to be a high failure rate. It's just that men playing a different game. So maybe you might hear, oh, that guy's really successful with women. But the failure rate is so high. It's just that men don't take that into account because men are used to failure. Men's mindset, the way that we're born, is basically fail until we win and then forget about all the failures. That's literally how men think. Like, oh, start that business 20 times, fail, and then finally get it right, and then forget about all the old failures. Because that's literally that's literally kind of the life of a man. We're supposed to take, I don't want to say high risk, but we're supposed to fail many, many, many times. And that's the only way to improve, right? It's like a woman never even has to fail. She can just go throughout life passively and wait for someone to come talk to her. But a man, no. Man's life is about failing to success, failing and then getting there. And I think even a lot of the times, I think even when, a woman's sleeping with a man that doesn't even really know him or whatever, I think a lot of that is not necessarily natural. Like either there's alcohol involved, or yeah, sometimes it's happening, but I would like, I would put a bet on it that most of the time there's something dysfunctional about that woman, or even the whole society at large that that woman is a part of. There's something dysfunctional about her, because I think most women don't just go out and sleep with somebody like that. uh, but anyways, I think it's overall best, if we're men who are want to be proud of ourselves, then we should ultimately be looking for marriage, because at the end of the day, like, you know it's not about the numbers. It's about how serious and well thought out your plan is. If you're trying to get married, okay, maybe you go on 3 dates a year. That's it, because that's the only marriage partner women you can find, or women that are, good marriage material. Then there's no, it's not necessarily about the numbers. Okay, yeah, you only went on 3 dates, or maybe you went on 1 date. But at the end of the day, you can respect yourself, because it wasn't about the likes and the follows, because that's what a lot of those, thirst trap women are about. They're about the numbers, the likes, the follows, how many men DM them. But, for us, if you're a serious man and you want to work more towards Christian values, conservative values, you're about the plan, It's kind of like, hold up. We'll say, remember that episode in SpongeBob, where SpongeBob and I can't remember his name. He was that genie, I think. They had this standoff about who could make better burgers. Yeah, I can't remember his name. It's Titan or something like that. But we'll just call him Titan. Titan made like 10,000 burgers, and he made it go out to the fans, right? But then everybody, ate the burgers, they didn't like it. But SpongeBob, he was serious, and he made this one burger, and Titan ate it. It's not his name, but I'm just calling him that. Titan ate it, and he loved it, and he realized there was something wrong with all the burgers he was making. So I feel like, as a man, sometimes you gotta create your one thing, which means focus on yourself and have a serious plan. And it's not gonna be that you're gonna get a ton of attention for it, but if you value it long term, right, then it can turn into something good. That's why I feel like men need to be self-centered around themselves. Like, be attracted to your own plan, right? Like, and find the beauty in your life, because like I'm saying, there's not gonna be a ton of external validation, but like, if you find the beauty in your life, like I've talked about on this channel, I like watches. I look down at my watch collection, and that's super beautiful to me. And it's a lot more beautiful than, if you think about it, my preference in watches and me going online and searching for it and learning about them. It's actually a lot more depth than, being a woman and just born with the ass and boobs. I mean, that stuff is beautiful, but I feel like I have more to be proud of with just my watch collection, or my, thoughts on life, thinking deep, than a lot of women can be proud of themselves if they really thought about it. It's not that it's a competition, it's just that I'm trying to get you to be self-centered have confidence around your own self, right? There's so much depth that we have as men, and a lot of the time, and I want you to look at every aspect of your life and be proud of it. I don't want you to feel like you're sucked into somebody else's life and orbiting around them. Like, don't follow Instagram models, bikini models. Don't stay off OnlyFans. Stay off pornography. Don't feed into that system, bro. You need to center your confidence around yourself, like, largely. Because, like, as a man, like, don't ever get emasculated by getting sucked into something that is addicting, especially if it involves somebody else, like feeding into someone else's validation because you're addicted to them. Like, no, you need to be addicted to your own self-improvement, right? And like I'm saying, it's not that you're gonna necessarily get rewarded for it, because you know, like I was saying earlier, some overweight chick that works at McDonald's who has 3 kids and she's a single mom, she can get more dates than we can, even as a handsome man. Like, that's just how it is. But so it's a little bit different. It's more, men were more like museum pieces, you know. Nobody's drawn into some painting in a museum like it's a drug. Nobody's drawn into it like that, but the person that knows it and understands it will show up to that museum and look at that painting and appreciate it, right? And that's how it is for men. The person who knows our struggle, who's been through what we've been through, like other men, you know, and the person that can see, for example, my watches and appreciate it, they know it. They know it when they see it, and they think it's beautiful, because men are different. Like, in order for someone to appreciate us, a lot of the time they have to know something about what we're about, you know. It's kind of like, for example, a man who has a nice car. Like, a lot of women don't even know about cars. It's gonna take a man who knows about cars to walk up to you and appreciate what you're doing. It's like our value, a lot of time, it's a lot more hidden. It's a lot more intricate, and it's gonna take only specific people. But that's why you wanna be focused on yourself, because there will be a woman who sees your value. There will be a woman that's like, oh wow, I like the way that he thought about that. I like the way that he read that book and learned that thing. You know, it's a lot, we're more like a treasure. But when the right woman finds us, it's like, it's different. A woman is like some gold on the street, you know, or an open treasure chest on the street corner. Yeah, no shit, or excuse my language. Yeah, everybody's gonna want to grab from it. But who wants to actually get the map and look for the treasure? Not that many people, but the right woman will see you and will want to figure you out. That's how I see it. And they will want to, you know, find the treasure that is you and figure out what you have to offer. So just keep hustling, stay centered around yourself, and have a good one. Peace out, yo. The other thing is that as a man, there's really no guarantee that your value will be recognized at any given time. Like, for example, let's say that the woman is having a bad day. Let's say that you meet, right? And you have a lot to offer. You're wise, you're healthy, you're fit, you know, you have hobbies, you have a career, you have all these things. There's no guarantee that she's gonna recognize your value on that given day. If she's having a bad day, or if she's focused on something else, you know, there's no guarantee that she's even gonna notice it or care to talk to you, right? Because women are more like that. Like, they're definitely a little bit more inconsistent with what they can feel for a man on any given day, right? If she's distracted, maybe she's been going on a date with another guy, so she just can't recognize your value when she meets you because she's focused on him, right? And there's other elements too, like, for example, many women, if they don't know you well, or they're not in your social circle, then they're not able to really perceive your value, even if you have value. Like let's say you're a stranger, or they don't know you that well. It completely kind of almost neutralizes all your value where they can't see it, right? So that's why you have, as a man, you have to see the value in yourself, right? You have to be the one that believes in yourself, because women are a lot more inconsistent, right? For many of them, it's not even about your value in the dating market or world. It's literally just about like having something to trigger them to start seeing your value. And that's not always gonna happen. Her friends aren't always gonna be there to say, oh, he's attractive, you should go on a date with him. But lots of the time, if the girl's friends aren't there to encourage her, then I don't think she'll even go on the date. So that's why you have to believe in yourself, right? You have to believe in your own value, because a man's value does not have that like addictive element to it like women's sexuality does. Like if a woman simply just has like zero talent but posts a photo of her butt online, she could literally make money for it. But a man can work on his craft, can be, for example, be a musician or athlete. A man can work his craft for 20 years straight and be extremely good, but still not make $1 off of it, because a man's value is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have it's not nearly as strong as a woman's body, or it doesn't attract women as much as we are attracted to women's bodies sexually. So I'm just trying to say, like, you have to find that value in yourself. You have to see it in yourself, because not everybody's gonna see it all the time, right? And the other thing I wanted to talk about is that you don't necessarily need a bunch of women to appreciate you. You don't need that. Like, let's say out of 1 million women, like 999,999. The other thing I wanted to talk about is like you can't, it doesn't necessarily matter if every girl likes you anyways, right? Like, let's say like 999,999 girls don't like you, right? But that last girl out of 1 million really appreciates you. Then that's all you need, because you're only gonna marry one girl. So some dude, let's say, who's short, or didn't come from a family of confident people, so he's not that confident or whatever. Or I know a lot of people that say like, they say that they're some race that girls don't like. Oh, I'm just a skinny short Indian. Oh, I'm just a this and that, and girls aren't attracted to me. Well, if you only need one girl to like you, then it doesn't necessarily matter what the other girls think. Like I'm saying, a man's value it's way more subjective. Like, a pretty woman, every guy's gonna like her, right? But a guy can have a lot of value and still only have 1 or 2 girls like him. For a man, a man could have a lot of value and still only have 1 or 2 girls like him every now and again, because it's just not, it doesn't equate the same way. So if you don't have a bunch of girls going after you or whatever, well, that's how it is for every man. There's no man who's like some ultra player that every girl likes him and goes out with him. No, that doesn't happen. I think that's just some myth, the myth of Chad or whatever. They say, oh, Chad gets all the girls. No, trust me. Like, I think these dudes that do, date a lot of women, like I'm saying, there's a really high failure rate. The failure rate is probably huge, like, for them. It's not like they're just getting every woman to go out on a date with them. It doesn't work like that. You're just not seeing what's going on behind the scenes, basically. And I have heard other guys say that same thing, like, who do go on a lot of dates with women, and there's other YouTubers who say it as well, that the failure rate, like having women flake or ghost them or even block them or whatever, it's gonna be high. So yeah, just be encouraged and stay up. Another thing that I think should really be considered, and I think a lot of men fall into this trap, and it's that they believe that women are just as sexual in real life as they are on their Instagram, right, or social media. Like a lot of women will act very pretty and all cute and like they want a man, and some of them, yeah, downright sexual on social media. So men will think that, okay, she shouldn't be that hard to get with, right? And then the girl ends up turning him down, and she ends up being way harder to get with than he thought, and now he feels like a loser, right? So don't fall into this trap, because women, I don't know why, but women will act in certain ways on social media that they wouldn't want to be talked to in real life, right? Like some women will post certain photos that scream sexual, like on the bed in their pajamas and stuff. Even if it's not blatantly sexual, it is. And then if a man were to walk up to them and say something sexual, they'd be pissed off and offended. So they seem to be experiencing some cognitive dissonance or something. So that's a trap. Don't think that like, I don't know, you might think, oh, there must be something wrong with me because this girl who seems to be posting very sexy pics doesn't want me. But no, I think women just act that way on social media, but not in real life. So it's another reason to not believe in that men can really be players. Like it doesn't work like that. There's going to be a high failure rate for every man that tries to get with a woman. So yeah,